Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the other side. Has it been a whole week already, Abby?
I guess it
Holy
has.
moly. Starting off here in the good old state of Pennsylvania, we are at a nice temperature tonight of 46 degrees. It's supposed to go down into the 30s overnight. And then this weekend, we're supposed to get some more crappy weather. To catch up before we go into the poetry, we are going to update you on lurking spirits and the gel. First, we'll start with the gel. Um, we are still not open yet for the public. The weather. I never had that problem before. It's yours.
it's
Yeah,
mine.
it's that one for some reason. We are still not open for the public. We're trying to focus on mid-March, only because it's just since there are some leaks in the ceiling, it gets slippery in there between water or ice, and we don't want anybody to have an accident, fall, and get hurt. Even though um, that would be part of the jail, but it's safety's always first, folks. So safety's always first. As far as the lurking spirits aspect of it, woo, woo, we got an investigation coming up this Saturday. We're going back to the Johnston house. For all of those that tuned in the last time to see the video, we had a lot of exciting things that happened there. We actually had our cat ball move a couple inches in front of our very eyes at that location. We weren't able to catch it on camera, except for like you got a hint, and you could definitely see our reaction when we saw it all going down. Um, but we're hoping that we can get some more exciting things like that again.
Hold on, I'm gonna fix this. It's
So
falling.
yeah, you can even just lay it on that somehow. Yeah, like that. Just something that makes it. So with that being said, we're going to do this of course is our poetry hour that we do every Thursday night at 8. Let's welcome Eric and Linda's always here right on top of it with us. Abby, is there any other updates that we have with the jail or anything? Do you hear any scratching in the background? It's not spirits, it's our dogs. They're goofy. They're very much entertainment, that's for sure. With lurking spirits in the jail, well, mainly the jail, we are planning on starting public investigations. We don't have any pricing on it yet, but we're throwing around like 5 groups at a time, having each group separate a different section per hour, have it run for like 5 hours. And then that way everybody can get their fair share of time in each area in the jail. And it's big enough that 5 groups should be able to go in. So we're throwing around that. It would probably be starting in March or April. And it will be, of course, it'll be public. And it will be probably like 5 to 10 or 6 to 11. And it'll probably be starting in like March or April. So catching up with that. Are you getting a storm Wednesday night? Linda's asking Kiwi. We're getting storms all the time, Linda. We're supposed to. Some of us had an ice storm last night. Some of us had more rain than ice. Ours was more rain than ice because when we took the dogs out this morning, it was like taking them out to a mud bath instead of taking them out just for a regular to do their business outside. We are supposed to get more snow, I guess, this weekend. I think ice on Saturday and snow going into Sunday and Monday, I think. But it's kind of like, if anybody believes in Punksy Phil's prediction, it looks like he may have gotten this one right.
Yeah, I always say that Pennsylvania weather is like that meme where it says "Hold my beer." So like if they're like, "Oh well, can you do all 4 seasons in one day?" It's like it's one of those situations.
And yesterday I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before. We were like in the mid 60s, and then last night we had thunderstorms. This is February, and we had thunderstorms. So yeah, we're having real interesting.
Yes, winter is sticking around. That's
weird weather. Now, tonight, I don't know who all is going to end up coming on and joining. Of course, everybody's welcome. We will do a couple of our poems like we did last time. Um, Depending on how many people is going to show up, we might do an interactive, like something like that. But
Oh, another thing about Lurking Spirits is the live coming up.
yeah, I want you to do
The
a
live
mini
interview.
live. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're planning an interview coming up with actually we're planning on with Paranormal Theory. We're going to try to have them on since everything got all patched up with all of us, and we showed how Unity really works. We're very excited to have them on and interview them, and we can see what their new ventures are and find out updates and catch up on everything. I want Abby probably maybe in the next day or two before we actually go on investigation, go on a live, just like a live short, just to update everybody about the situation over at the jail.
Why me?
Because you're good at it. So that way she can update everybody and say we do have to rebook a couple of things. We had a couple bookings for next weekend, but with the weather still acting crazy, we're going to have to postpone those again. And again, guys, it's not one of those, oh, they keep on postponing that. We think safety first, and that's what it truly is about. Between the cold temperatures and the rain coming in and anything that freezes over, that cement floors in there, one little bit of rain or ice and you're down and you're hurt.
Yeah, the owner and ourselves are very particular with safety.
Yeah.
Because we're not like the county that owned it, that care about anybody. We worry that people are going to get hurt if they're in there right now.
Yeah, it's always safety first. We'll never ever go any other route than safety first. So,
I love the sounds of paper. It's like ASMR.
I know. Can you hear? Yeah, you like that ASMR there? Like, yeah, you like that? Okay, isn't that nice?
I need to get a printer to print some of my stuff off.
You have a printer right over there that you can use. Just all I need to do is bring your computer over, print anything, and I have a typewriter.
I don't know how to use typewriters.
It's the same as a thing on a computer.
Yeah, but you can't make any mistakes because if you do,
you can. You just go back and there's a erase tape on it.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Okay, well the old ones didn't have erase tape on them.
I believe mine has the correction tape on it. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I think mine does. I decided when I was writing my last book, I wanted a typewriter so I could type it and just have a hard copy automatically. And I ordered this typewriter. I haven't used it yet. So I'm planning on using it because I got to redo.
She's just trying to be like R.L. Stein with his fancy typewriter.
I'm going to be Stephen King.
Linda said, Diane, didn't you teach your kids about typewriter?
Some of the things I would wanted to teach them out that we had, I don't think they're quite interested. So they're like,
hey, at least I know how to use an old phone, okay? I know how to dial on an old phone.
Well, my oldest daughter at one time looked at me and said, were you born when the dinosaurs was? So that, if that's any indication, I said, yeah, I had that chisel and that old made chisel out of stone, and that was carving things in.
Like the Flintstones?
Yeah. So, but okay. So Abby and I are going to continue with a couple of our own poems again. This week they're not going to be in, like last week was Romance Week. I'm just going to go now in the order that my poems are. But let's have something fun. Let me go. I have haiku.
I got some funny ones.
I'm sure
tonight.
People are familiar with haikus. I can't remember if it was 867 or I can't remember what the amount of syllables was for each haiku, but let me see if I can, it would be in the back, my haiku page. If I can find it. I don't want to hold you up. I wasn't prepared.
I even have my first ever poem that I wrote.
Did you?
School. Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you want to start, well, I'm looking. Okay, let me see. I got my dream here. Let me see how close. It's a couple before that. So, okay. There we go. I found my haiku page. So, we'll start off fun. I don't know if these haikus are going to be fun in your eyes, but where we're going to go. I think, well, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5, 7, and
You want to explain what a
4.
haiku is in case somebody doesn't know?
Haiku is a very short, like, poem, but it's written by syllables. So your first line is like 5 syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 syllables. Your second line is 7, and then your last one is 4. I think that one's messed up because I think
Well, you can always change it to. It doesn't always have to be the 5-7-5 rule. It could be any kind. It just has a pattern to follow.
I think haiku goes by. Eric, doesn't haiku go by a set amount of syllables?
Yeah, I have it written. I have it.
Yeah, 5-7-5.
5-7-5. So this one I need to put another word in it. And okay. So here's my haiku page. I hope you like it. So
sorry, I wasn't filling up to advertising these lives. Blame the flu. Oh, you're sick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Linda's been sick. I haven't been exactly 100% great. Eric's a little bit under the weather. Your dad's really not feeling great now, so it's going around.
That's because of this weird bipolar weather.
So my first one goes like this. The little black cat crawled slowly into her arms and fell sound asleep. That's the first one. The second one is the green grasshopper jumped quickly from twig to twig to escape danger. The cute little girl leaped up into Daddy's arms to softly kiss him. The icy cold air cut through like a sharp knife. Snow is on its way. The spider's big web, with its intricate design, lures unwilling prey. The beautiful plant needs water and bright sunshine in order to live. The children sleep now. They have worn themselves all out. The house is quiet. So there's my haiku page. Hope you like.
It's cute.
Okay, Abby, you can start with your first poem.
I have a lot though. I'm trying to decide if I want to read a long one.
You read a long one.
Okay, I'll read the one about the spider in the cellar that I had to write in school. So basically, we have this picture of this spider in a cellar, and it says, I want you to write a poem based on this spider in the cellar and see what you can come up with. And so I wrote this long poem about this spider in the cellar. And it has a sad ending, but it's still funny. All right, so it goes, stuck in the dark shadow is a creepy fellow. Drip drop goes the broken pipes below. Hanging, taking a visual photo. The spider in the cellar. Alone and forgotten by an apple pure rotten. With a broken cup that he was caught in. Poor little feller.
Aww.
Silence broken. Floors crack. The spider covered in all black. Having a tiny little snack. Set up to pack. The spider in the cellar. Crawling his way up to the stairs. Avoiding all the chairs. But again, no one cares. Light splits between the door frame, just like a glowing flame. A man walks by with no name. This is just the start of the spider's little game. The spider in the cellar. Crawling his way under the door, just a few inches more. A man is standing there, and the wine that he will pour. Poor little feller. Still on the floor as his 8 legs crawl, being all so small, trying to climb over a football. But oh no, the giant is down the hall. The spider in the cellar. Stopping to get a breath on the dish. Stopping to make a wish. Who knew he would make a squish? Poor little feller.
Aww. I like that. I like that a lot. It's cute and sad.
It's a cute but sad.
Poor little fellas. I like that poor little fat Lord. So, I got a
Eric
couple.
put a spider emoji.
I got some longer ones in here too. This one's real long here. This one back here, not real long, but whatever. Okay. This poem was written one day when I was thinking about how low my self esteem is, which we've talked about that before. Although I have the greatest husband ever, I felt sometimes that I'm not worthy of having anyone in my life. So I was sitting thinking of what to write, and I came up with this poem. I never thought much about my looks. I cut myself down constantly, and my husband gets mad at me for it. And he tells me all the time I'm way too hard on myself. But I know I am. That we, my kids, they all know I'm real hard on myself. And they
It's
kind of
just
do me
sometimes
like,
you got to bop her in the
well,
head.
and that's what they do too. So I don't honestly know what brought these feelings about in myself, other than, like I said, when I was growing up, there was a lot of stuff in that going on. But anyhow, this poem that I wrote, it's kind of like a fantasy type thing that kind of just went through my mind, and it kind of brings a smile to my face, even.
Poor little
But
bugger.
I love that poor little bugger. Okay, this one's called One Moment in Time. In a restaurant ordering something to eat, I felt piercing eyes on me across from my seat. I glanced over to see a wonderful surprise. Staring at me was a pair of magnificent eyes. He sat there so handsome, and he threw me a smile. This hasn't happened to me in such a long while. I nodded my head, and I blushed quite a bit. My breathing was heavy, and my heart fluttered a bit. I couldn't believe it. This just couldn't be. This gorgeous man was staring at me. Just when I thought I couldn't take any more, he walks towards me and then out the door. I felt embarrassed and somewhat let down. I knew in my face I was wearing a frown. The disappointment was there, but I shrugged it away. For that one moment in time, he made my day. So there it is.
That's cute. You never know. There's just that one situation.
You never know.
How many poems are you planning on doing tonight?
I don't know. We're going to play the hour. Play it here. We'll look up, and then we might see if we can do maybe, depending on, we've got 5 people showing on here. I guess we'll play it as it goes. Oh, thank you, Linda. We'll play it as it goes. I still like the poor
Which
little
one's the
fella.
clapping?
Oh, shucks. Oh, jeez. We'll play, like, we'll see. I still, that poor little spider. That's going to be in my head all night long. That, like, I
That
don't
poor
like
little
spiders,
feller.
but that poor little spider, he was just kind of being by himself there and enjoying life.
Yeah. It was interesting because a lot of people went for the more like itsy bitsy spider with the spout and it coming back out and not dying. But then I went for the darker twist
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, he
We're
survived.
still getting some of the static off that. I noticed. I wonder
Yeah.
if we move this over.
Oh, that's what it is. I think it stopped when you moved it. It might be because my phone's close to it, but
That's what it is, because it's only on that side, though, I noticed. I think it's because of all the electrical over there. I think it happened with Gabriella and her phone, too. So.
Yeah, it probably is.
Okay.
All right, so this one is about nature. I feel like we need something beautiful. So I wrote about the perfect getaway, and it's called Simple Lands. My husband would squish that spider. Me too. I hate spiders.
I'll be honest with you, I would have squished it too, but the way it was written in the poem, you're kind of like, oh, how cute.
And that's kind of how I want it to be too. Like, oh, he's just a little guy, he was trapped in a cup and he somehow escaped and you had to hope for him and then he got squished.
Yeah, poor little spider, that little feller.
All right, so this one
Little
is called
fella.
Simple Lands. It is about like the most beautiful sky and like the best place to get away kind of situation. I rescue bugs. What kind of bugs do you rescue? I'm curious.
The bug rescuer.
Me and Gabrielle used to rescue
See,
bugs.
I think it's that phone definitely.
I can't not have it here.
I know Gabriella had to hold hers over there the other day.
All bugs. Yeah,
Uh,
me and Gabrielle used to rescue bugs too. We used to make a hotel for them.
yeah,
Dollhouse.
that's the whole. I think we did talk about it one time. Yeah, that was such a pleasant surprise. Okay, Abby, go ahead. What's it called?
It's called Simple Lands. So it's called. It goes the purest of skies, so fresh like a Lysol can. The clearest, most crystal water. The sounds of raindrops colliding onto a tin roof. The sounds of nature's music with every mild wind blow. Chirping birds, squirrels scattering the leaves around. It's simple, almost entirely unimaginable. The day when the sky is packed with the fluffiest clouds, trying to decide on what cloud creation you may come up with. Nice steaming cup of coffee with queen carved in the side. In front of me is a meadow of the most beautiful orange and red sphere. A side road wrapping around the house, gigantic trees scattered in the whole plot of land, plots of flowers and dirt, no outside sounds like obnoxious cars or houses built where you step, a quiet nature, no house in sight, but mine, rocking on the chair right on my patio. I begin to let my fingers dance on the keyboard as I imagine this perfect life, the perfect getaway.
That's nice. That's real nice. I like that. Daughter's got talent. Daughter's got talent. Daughter's got talent.
That's because I'm a Libra.
See, Eric. Ooh, I like that, Abby. See, we're gonna be popular. I told her like when I write my book that she consider too because she has. Yeah, you're gonna have just move your phone over. See. Yeah, just put your phone.
Nope, that's not gonna work.
That's
Okay,
it. Yeah,
I'll
right
just
there,
read
right,
it this
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's weird because look, mine doesn't do it.
That's because you're wearing the case, I think. I have a case on mine too, but it's not as
Oh,
thick.
I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So my next poem is called "The Stranger." Let me see if because I usually do a little write up before what came into mind. This I was laying in
So
bed
you
one.
love Abby over Gabby tonight.
Abby's my favorite tonight. Gabrielle will come over. Mom. I was laying in bed one night and my inspiration to write a poem captured me. Ideas roam around my head constantly. I journey to places of the unknown and wonder what would it be like in those mysterious and magical kingdoms. I imagine what it would be like to believe that you are on earth, but to find out that your soul transcended into another world. So I came up with this one and it's called The Stranger, and strangers in quotation marks. Okay. So once upon a time, many years ago, a young lad sat quietly on the stone wall and played his happy tune on his flute. The chirping birds high on the branches above seemed to sing in unison with each note. Glorious sounds of music seeped through the air, awakening Mother Nature from her deep sleep. As the crickets chirped and the frogs croaked, one by one, each living and breathing thing sang or danced to the tune. The earth was revitalized once again. Each day, this young boy took his regular place on the wall and played harmoniously as the world opened its eyes. The music was so pleasant and relaxing that even the grass, as it swayed in the wind, and the branches of the trees as they moved with the breeze, appeared to keep up with the beat. The flowers expressed their gratitude by blooming with the magnificence of an artful masterpiece. Sounds of the babbling brook blended its own tune with the harmony of the boy's flute. The earth was happy and at peace. Each morning, a stranger passed by his orchestra of nature until one day he slowly but cautiously approached this beautiful symphony. He became overwhelmed with such happiness and contentment. The unified symphony between man and nature in which he encountered was mind-blowing to him, but yet serene and calming. He stood there for a moment, entranced by what his eyes and his ears captured. For a few seconds, he closed his eyes and was swallowed by his surroundings. He floated away to a paradise, a land that he never thought existed. Vivid, colorful flowers, trees in full blossom, and complete comfort filled his heart and soul. There was no anger there. There was no hate. There was love. There was happiness and joy. This was a wonderful place to be. He never wanted to leave. The stranger opened his eyes, now filled with the greatest love of all. As he looked at the little boy playing the flute, the boy stopped his magical tune and spoke to him. Welcome to heaven.
That's cute. Sad,
I
but
get
cute.
morbid sometimes. I have a couple.
Me too. I have one
Yeah.
about an old couple
Yeah.
that lived their whole life, which is sweet, but they ended up dying together at the same day at the exact time.
You kind of have to, you don't want to think about that, but you want to think about, everybody says that this, which my next live will be on the afterlife, and you think about that. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people claim that once you pass on, you go through the light and you enter this realm of peacefulness and serenity, but nobody ever knows for sure. So you like to keep in your mind, hey, if that's a possibility, I want to try to imagine in poetry, story form or whatever, what that would be like. So every now and then I'll write something down that'll come to me like that. And it kind of goes in the darker realm.
Yeah, I have a lot of dark
but
ones.
It's
It's a thing too, like when your mind is like really messed up, like you're depressed or whatever, you tend to write more depressing things. And it's usually not about what's happening around you, but it's so easy just
it just comes to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just comes to you like, okay, so that I can see what kind of state of mind that I'm in today.
Yeah, I wrote about a blind guy that he lost his sight in a car crash and he can hear sounds and stuff, but he can't see anything. And he also dies.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy,
I tell
lordy.
you, it's morbid, but it's true.
So you got another one, Abs?
Yeah, I'm actually going to read my very first poem I ever wrote. This I had a poem class, poetry class, and there was a lady that came in and she's teaching us about poetry and whatnot. And they said, I want you to do things that are related to you. So in the poem, for people who know me, you'll hear things that are related to me in it, but it doesn't actually relate to me, if that makes sense.
Kind of.
Now,
I think I know where you're going.
now, Mom and Gabrielle were just talking about fairies, and this happens to do it with a fairy. So, it is called Warrior Fairy. It says, I am a fairy flying through the raindrops, avoiding the obstacles that await. Indian is in my blood, the warrior I become. With my arrow, with my arrow of diamond and my bow of silver, this fairy warrior is strong, changing the fairy from struggling to becoming free by being strong. My wings are as bright and orange as a hint of sunset on a day coming to an end. Skin tan as the sun, even sun can't damage this warrior. Oh, how jolly this warrior is, keeping her head high. Confidence as high as a tree, as strong as the horse's legs galloping through mud. Yes, the goal is large, 5 to be exact, but it may happen if I just fight back. This fairy sounds like a hummingbird humming a song, so beautiful indeed, even sadness won't break this warrior fairy.
I like that.
Do you get what I mean by this?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I had to do in poetry class.
I like that a lot. I think that
It's B squared.
B squared. Our loyals always come back. I love our loyals. I love our fan base. I love everybody. I have all that love in my heart. You're finding another one.
Yeah.
So when you're reading your next one, I'll try to find one. How ironically our weather has been sucky, and I did write a poem called "The Storm." It's kind of a little dippy, but it kind of is appropriate for.
Don't bash your poetry.
Well,
It is
this one
still
kind
art.
of is appropriate when we had that last snowstorm that we kind of got a little bit more than what we thought. Because every time they tell us we're going to get a big snowstorm, I'm there, yeah, like, right. And last year in particular, oh, we're going to get 6 to 12 inches. And I'm there, we're not going to get it. And every single time they told us that we got like maybe an inch, 2 inches. Now, this year, for once, they predicted, I think, like 3 to 6 inches or 3 to 8 inches, and I know we
It was a
probably
joke.
we easily got that amount of snow. So my hair's kind of doing some funky shit look tonight. It always looks red in here. I don't know why,
It
but
does. It looks more like strawberry instead
yeah.
of blonde. I mean,
So,
brunette.
well, I was born a blonde, and it was a blonde up until I had my first kid. When I had Nancy, then my hair looked like rainbow bright. It had dark in it, had real light in it, had red in it. It was like rainbow bright from the hormonal change. So it
Mhm.
just went amok from that point on. So, children. Okay, hey, everyone was preparing dinner but listening. You're good, B squared. We're always, you guys, like I said, you're faithful to you always show up, and we love all of you.
I'm gonna go run get some more water real quick.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I will read the storm and chit chat. You're gonna get some. Oh, you're gonna go. Just grab a bottle of water, Abby.
Well, I still want to pour it in my cup. I just
Okay,
I got a brand new cup to put.
Yeah.
Water
Well,
in.
you still got water in there.
Yeah, not much though.
Okay. Okay. So this one, like I said, is appropriate with all the shitty weather that we've had. So here it is. It's called The Storm. The brisk air slapped my face. The wind howled as it whipped around me. Snow swirled like a twister as it blanketed the ground. The storm arrived with a vengeance. I could not see where I was going. It was like a white sheet was placed in front of me. The blustery precipitation raped the land. It overpowered the peace and serenity that serenity there once was, and showed its fierce and violent personality. My face burned from the icy cold. My fingertips felt like there were 1,000 needles prickling them. My destination was near. As I reached for the doorknob to the entrance of my home, I found it very hard to realize that the walk from my car would be so long. That's how cold it was outside that
I like
day.
that.
That was cold outside. That's how it was the other morning. Eric and me just taking the dogs out to go potty. And we were walking out there, and it's just out the door, and it felt like we walked a mile and back to get in. That's how cold it was.
I can't open this. There we go.
Oh, y'all, so our hands are. Oh no, what hands? You're good. You are good, 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 good. You never need to. You guys need to slip out for a couple minutes, and that you're good.
More ASMR going on here.
You can pick one of these out there that you want me to read next. Okay.
I want to hear that one.
Okay.
Because you told me about it,
Yep.
but I didn't. So, ironically,
Where's that one?
she did a winter one. I'm going to do a winter one.
Yay!
It's called The First Winter Storm. So, the fall leaves collapse with the first winter storm. Snow covering the ground, no more of this temperature known as warm. Tiny footprints imprinted into the snow, the mix of breeds of animals we all know. Little tots throwing the biggest snowballs, the frost that covers every square inch of the brick walls. Creativity of frozen sculptures, blue and white are the only colors. Figure eights carved into the ice pond, a view of frozen mountain tops beyond. Caves packed with ice crystals bore many different symbols. Winter storm, welcome to this little town.
Wow, I like that. That's really nice. I kind of give the visual of movies like Trapped in Paradise.
That's what I was
That's
hoping
kind
for.
of like, you get that visual there, that movie with that poem description there.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay, my next one is going to be called TikTok. And my little bio that I wrote before I wrote that goes like, I'm sure everyone's had sleepless nights. We all have had them, especially if you know you have to wake up early the next day for work or
Thank you.
whatever the case may be. Sometimes I'll lay awake all hours of the night just hearing the ticking of the clock, which for many of you, you know, and it's a fact. You get used to hearing that ticking of the clock, and if that clock, the batteries go dead or it goes dead and you don't hear that, you can't sleep because your body gets used to that tick tock sound. So, as time passed, the ticking of the clock got louder and louder as you try to fall asleep. There's a creature feature in the back. Ah, Gabriella! Okay, so I wrote those poems on one of those nights where I tried endlessly to fall asleep and I couldn't.
Deborah, you got a poem?
You want to share a poem? Do you have a poem? You can join in and share a poem. You got a poem?
Do you
Got a
write
poem?
poetry?
Poem.
Or do you have
She
a
wanted-
writing that you like?
Gabriella.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I don't know, shoe. That was so good, Gabriella.
That-
A+.
See, that one I felt from the heart.
Yeah,
That one,
that's where
it came right down from deep down inside the soul and it just poured out. Those are the kind I really, truly. Gabriella might have just become my favorite from that poem. I'm sorry, Abby.
Well,
Okay, TikTok. The sound of the ticking clock was nearly hypnotizing. As I lay there, I watched the second hand move to each beat of its monotonous tone. Tick tock, tick tock. Each minute that passed seemed like an eternity. The hand circled around each number as each hour ticked away. The ticking magnified. Tick tock, tick tock. The ticking amplified like the beating of a huge bass drum. My head pounded from the sound of each beat. Tick tock, tick tock. Why won't my eyes grow heavy and sleep take over? Why is the sound of that normally soothes me into deep sleep now keeping me wide awake? Tick tock, tick tock.
hi, Cactus Moonlight.
I sit up on my bed. My body will not rest. I walk towards the window and peek outside as hints of daylight start to peek in. Tick tock, tick tock. Should I try and see if sleep will overcome me with the little bit of darkness that is left? The ticking continues and my body won't rest. Tick tock, tick tock. As my room lightened with a ray of daylight, I decided to finally give up. There would be no rest for me this time. Hopefully I can sleep once again tonight. Tick tock, tick tock.
Bravo. What, are you just stalking now?
Stalk it because she has to get ready because we showcase after.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
So it's a double feature tonight.
double feature. We're coming on at 9:30.
Yeah, I didn't post anything.
Oh, did you figure out what we want to discuss tonight?
I thought we were gonna.
Squid Games and stuff and that, and or the
Yeah,
other.
I mean, I can't talk about the one show that you're
We
talking
won't
about,
go
though.
there. I'll mention it, but we won't go there because you didn't watch it. So, okay, Abs, did you find
Yes.
another like a mother?
I have one about Aspen.
Oh, you do.
Yes.
Aspen.
So if people don't know, I have a cat. He is a Siamese cat, and his name is Aspen. Now this was when I first got him, I believe. So this is when he was really young and what is the word I'm thinking of? Ambitious. I think that's what the word is.
Rambunctious.
Rambunctious.
Yes. But now he's old and lazy. So just realized I hit the keyboard and I am a couple minutes behind. Double feature. Double feature creature show. That's what Linda called it. Alright, so anyways, this one is about Aspen, the baby Aspen. So it goes, Eyes as blue as the ocean, a sway in every motion. White silky fur, a pet followed by a purr. One pink toe bean, so pampered, so clean. Black tipped nose, pure white toes almost up if you wore clothes. Brown painted face, your cuddles are a secret place. Love you, Aspen, with all my heart. Just will never be a fan of when you decide to fart.
That was always one of my favorites. I remember the first time you read that to me. I thought that was so freaking cute and I loved it. So,
Cactus says hello.
hi, Cactus.
Gabrielle's here too, just hiding.
Gabrielle is always hiding.
You missed my spider poem.
It was so cute. It was cute, but it was sad. Yeah, he didn't survive. him didn't make it.
Brought him to the ground.
Him was a cute little guy, having just minded his own little business. He was a little spider in the cellar. He was a cute little feller in the cellar.
Yeah, so basically, it was a poem about. So we had this thing in English class that they showed a picture of a spider in a cellar, and it said, "We want you to come up with something. Doesn't matter what, just kind of related." Now, all the other people they had where the spider escaped, and he was all happy and safe and everything, and then there's me killing him at the very end.
Hers took a different turn, unfortunately.
Damn. See, every time that they had us do something like that in writing class or English or whatever, I would always write a story. It would be a really long story on something like
Cactus is going, Gabby!
he grew up in that basement and that was his forever home.
Yeah, that's not
until
this
one
happened.
day somebody came in and smushed his little ass.
Oh, that was my story.
That was kind of like...
That's very similar.
Oh my goodness
P Square
gracious.
says shy Gabby? Question mark?
No, I look like I just woke up or like came out of a trash can. I look like Oscar the Grouch.
Well, when we get down here, you only have half an hour, child.
Yeah, well, I gotta wait for my dude to get out of the bathroom.
The dude.
So I can take a shower.
Dude.
Because the last
Who's
time...
all lurking around here for mine and Gabriella's real talk?
Because the last time we took a shower in both of the bathrooms, and he used up all the hot water. So I was in there like...
We had a 40-gallon hot water tank before, which was more than sufficient enough for the family. But when it went and we had to get our new hot water tank in, he put a 30-gallon in. So now, I mean, it's still sufficient enough, but we have to watch because if two people decide to take a shower at the same time, one of them's probably going to run out of water, especially if one takes a long shower.
I don't take that long of a shower.
You don't take that short of a shower either.
You gotta make sure everything's clean.
You
gotta
gotta clean that thing.
Wise
You gotta
words from
clean
Gabriella.
She gotta
everything.
clean that thing.
Clean that thing.
Okay, so awesome. Okay, so my next poem is called The Old Man in the Park. Now, after I got and I started really, Tom encouraged me a lot to write. Thank goodness. He also encouraged me to paint. Like some of the paintings that you see in the background, I painted. Not the big turtle, but
She could paint it though.
the boat and the lighthouse that you can barely see above, I painted. So he was really good encouragement and for doing writing and painting and all that stuff. But this one here, after he says, I think you should pursue it. You should pursue your book. You should pursue your poetry. So I wrote this one. So now I have two versions. I have the original version, and then I submitted it to poetry.com, but I had to cut it down because that was, they wanted only so many lines at one point of time. So I had to kind of
They still
revise
have
it.
it that way.
Oh, they do?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I had to revise it for poetry.com. So I'm going to read you the original. It goes, the withered old man sat on the park bench alone. A smile came upon his face as he tossed little pieces of bread to the birds. The sky was bright as the sun illuminated the day. Nature designed him a beautiful day for an outing. As hours passed, he watched the children come and go. His friendly nod and kind eyes made the children happy. At times, some would come and help him feed the birds. They would laugh with him as an occasional squirrel or rabbit would frolic merrily along. Their youth and energy would bring back memories of yesteryear. They would listen with their mouths dropped open with big bright eyes. His stories fascinated them as they absorbed his every word. Time passed, and the day grew old as darkness would drown the sun's rays. His new young friends would return to their parents and head home. His day in the park would come to an end as well. As he left the park with images of his special day etched in his head, he did not know that darkness would soon fall upon him also.
Wow.
I killed him
That's
off.
morbid.
I killed him off, that poor old man. And then I had the revised version.
Yes, you're right, B squared. We are an arty family.
We try.
We get it from our mom.
Your dad's pretty talented.
He can draw.
Your dad can draw. Your dad can write. A couple of the poems that he wrote me when we were first talking back and forth to each other, it was pretty damn good.
That's cute.
The one that he wrote me, I'm there. Where did you get that poem from? He said, I wrote it. I said, when? He said, just now. I said, damn. So, yeah. So
I think, honestly, everybody can be arty as long as you embrace it. And because I feel like everybody can write poetry.
the secret of writing to me is you have to feel it. When you're writing, you have to feel it. But I thank you very much, Cactus. I really, really appreciate that. I try a lot of my poems. I try to get that in there so you do get that visual when you're hearing it.
I think I'm going to do this one.
Yeah, we're getting close to that time too. I don't know if there's another one, like, because we're getting close. We might just have open discussion after that. I don't know.
I have one about Leo. Except the one part of it doesn't make sense. I don't know why I wrote it. There's been poems that I've wrote and I've cried writing. Like, I've had tears in my eyes writing.
That's when you know you're...
And it's not because it's affecting me. It's just the fact that it's more of a depressing poem and it really hits hard. I wanted to tell you something that made me very happy.
What?
All Poetry, the creator of it or whatever, messaged me privately and said, by the way, your one poem is on the featured page for a whole week.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
so they must have been voted by a lot of people. Because
apparently.
usually if we get voted in, they'll put it on the feature page.
But the thing is, though, it was one of my crappier ones. It was the ones that did the Christmas countdown. But
I noticed that too, because a lot of the poems that I feel that I write that I feel that is not my best, some of the people when they hear it say, I really like that one. Sometimes they like really surprise you. I'm just trying to...
I love the ASMR of the...
Yeah, isn't it?
They get the papers, and then they get the water pouring into my cup. All I need is to tap my nails on the top, and there we go. We had a complete ASMR going on. Alright, so this one is about Leo, which Leo is my Schipperke Corgi. He is 6 years old now. We got him from a humane society. But he's still the cutest thing ever. I just recently took a picture of him too. I don't understand how though. It's about wrapping paper. But they featured me. I don't know why, but they did. And the guys and I put thank you, and the guy messaged me back. He says, "You're very welcome. I found this piece very enjoyable." I'm like, okay. And it's not Christmas anymore, but okay. So this poem is called Furball.
Oh, Furball.
It's called Furball. I think it was probably when I first got Leo. I love it when poems and stories practically write themselves. Yeah? I like the ones that really put you into the scene. Like the nature related ones. Like you can just imagine what you're seeing. Those are cool. Alright, so this one's called Furball. So it goes, fuzzy dark tail, wet tiny nose, the craziest whiskers, pointy ears, hyper little furball, packed with energy, fluffiest little face, painted face like a panda, which I don't get that part. Oh no, this one's about Aspen too, I think. Anyways, softest hugs ever, tiny little legs. Oh, this is Leo. The cutest toe beans, the sweetest calling. Never sleeps, never tired. The sound of bells with every step note is Boston. Jumping 5 feet high.
the Leo cannot jump.
The sharpest bites, the wettest kisses.
Aw. I like pet poems.
Well, technically,
I
Leo
never wrote
can
one about-
jump.
I never, not that high though.
He
I
can
mean,
jump on our bed though. He's
That-
legs, we can jump, and our
Yeah.
bed's pretty high.
I want to see that because that has to be funnier than hell.
It
seeing
is.
him trying.
It's funny because you know how people struggle to get on it, like when they're climbing a mountain or whatever, and they're kind of struggling to get themselves up. That's how I feel.
You missed something funny today. It's funny, but it's not funny because he could have got hurt. Sia jumped on your dad on the chair, but when she jumped on him, she caught like his neck, like kind of. But when she jumped on him, she knocked him over on the chair, and all you see is his legs. It was kind of funny, but it wasn't funny because he said, help me," because she was like pressing on his neck. So it was funny, but it wasn't funny. So, but we're getting close to time, so I'm sure that we
Yeah,
are
we're just
probably
gonna
down
chit chat.
to nitty gritty. Are we gonna do one more or no?
You can, but I'm done.
This one, I'll do this last one because it has special memories for me. And Eric will know because I think he remembers her somewhat too. Yeah, we should write a poem. Why don't you write a couple poems about Max and Sia, Eric? I don't know if he can hear. He might have his headphones on. I had a next door neighbor. Don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into details, but she passed away at 22. She would come over. She practically lived at her house. I loved her dearly. She was like,
He has writer's block.
she was like part of the family. Like she'd come over. We had pizza like every Monday night. She was a part of our pizza night. She came out. She had the biggest heart. Like if she would give her shirt off of her back to anyone if she could. I always had all the kids around the neighborhood up, and she had them at her picnic table. She'd get them all like popsicles or some kind of snack and drink and play games with them. She drew. She was a pretty good artist. She knew how to play the harmonica real well. She knew how to play piano. She's just the biggest hard person. Now our neighbor, there's a big lilac tree right next to our house, and I would always ask her father if I could get lilacs and have them on the table because that's one of my favorite scents is lilac. And it got to the point where he would actually, when they came into bloom in the spring, he would cut them off and he would bring me. He said, "Here, Diane, here's for your dining room table." So a lot of good memories with that family and her in particular. But she passed way, way, way too early. So this poem is about her. The cool, gentle breeze blew softly across my face. A slight hint of lilac perfumed the air. Memories of you raced through my mind as I sat so quietly and all alone on the porch. You had such a kind and loving smile. Your kindness and warmth touched everyone whose life you entered. Such a troubled world you must have known. You cried out, but no one knew as the days of time moved on. I can now recognize the warning signs. Now it's too late. If I could only turn back the clock, I wish I could have known then what I know now. Could I have eased your pain? Professionals say no. Your mind was made up. Nothing could have stopped you. Now, myself and everyone else you so deeply touched feel the pain of not having you here with us. God outstretched his arms and embraced you. Heaven has opened its gates and welcomed you home. Peace, love, and serenity will be yours forever. We can now smile knowing pain and sorrow will no longer be with you. May eternal happiness be with you. Your illuminating smile and caring heartbreak will be embedded in our minds forever.
That's cute. Sad but cute.
I miss her. She was just the loveliest, sweetest soul on the face of the earth, and that family was amazing. That was a big family, all very, very, very loving. Probably the greatest neighbors I've ever been around. But yeah, so that
It's
was
not
my
every day that you get a good neighbor.
no.
There's some really
No.
mean people out there.
I mean, and she was so good with everybody. It didn't matter who you were. She would take time out to be there for you, to help you out, talk to you. And our house and her house seemed to be the traffic area of the whole block. So if there was any kids in the block, they either came to our porch and met up, or they went over to her porch. Well, in her yard, she had a big picnic table, and they would go there, and that's where everybody would gather. So it was an amazing time. Even though she's gone way too soon, she left beautiful memories. So you know who you are. You know I miss you. Love you. It was beautiful. It's funny because if you Robin Williams,
Mm-hmm.
she kind of looked like Robin Williams. It's so funny. It's yeah. So
He is another beautiful soul that
Yep.
felt a lot of pain.
Yep. So, but there we go. Yeah, rest in peace, Robin Williams. Funny guy. One of my favorite pictures, believe it, is Doctor. Was it? It's called Doctor Patch, right? Or was it just Patch, Eric?
Patch Adams.
Oh, Patch Adams.
You're putting me to the table.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Dr. Patch. I knew it had Patch in it, but that was an amazing movie. So, anybody have any comments that they were like? Any comments on any of the poems that we just read? Any comments of?
Or want to share your own piece
Yeah,
real quick.
please. If you have a poem that you want to come on and share real quick, here we are. Here's your opportunity. Come on now, Cactus. Come on, Linda, Eric. Come on.
She and Robin Williams will never truly be gone.
That's 100% correct. Like, but you know when you think of the afterlife and that, and they say people come to you in your dreams, and I've had dreams that was so vivid. Like probably maybe I'm going to say maybe approximately 5 years ago, I had this dream that she came to me. She brought me a bouquet of lilacs. She said, "Diane, I know how much you like them," and she says, "I'm not gone." She says, I'm just in another place right now. And she said, "I'm going to always be here if you ever need to talk. Please don't be sad because I'm always going to be around you." And it was like she was standing right there talking to me right in person. It was kind of eerie, but peaceful too at the same time. His daughter Zelda seems like a really nice person. I don't know anything at all about his daughter Zelda. I'm gonna have to look up on that because Eric, was that the only child he had?
No, he has a son. His son looks a lot like him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what his name is.
I wonder if his son's trying to pick up where he went from.
And the only thing I know about it, she doesn't really look anything like her dad, but the only thing I remember from her is that she voiced one of the characters in the Legend of Korra series. She voiced Kuvira.
Oh, that's cool.
I wonder, maybe someday on here we'll devote like 15 minutes. We'll do poetry, but devote like the last 15 minutes to memorialize some of these fallen stars like that with big hearts like Robin Williams.
We can.
I mean, I think that would be, and give it like a tribute to
Mhm.
him, I think that would be a real nice, who knows, maybe we can write a poem about Robin Williams or one of them right before we give tribute to them.
Yeah.
So,
Linda says it's why learning about the paranormal is so important to her.
you'll be interested. I did a lot of research on mine. I would like to try to get it in tonight, but I wanted to go live and with us now and then me and Gabrielle, I think that'd just be too late to have. So I'll probably just go on tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be live or not. I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go, but my story, my documentary podcast, whatever you want to call it, on the afterlife, I found a lot of real interesting things about it, and I'm going to tie a movie in with it. There's two versions of the movie. They call the second one a remake, but it's actually almost like a copy because it's almost exactly like the very first one, just a little bit of differences in it, not much. It's very disturbing to watch, but it's kind of like when you're watching Final Destination movies. You know, they're kind of disturbing and graphic and everything, but at the end of it, they're like, oh, geez, is this really kind of telling us something? Do we have a path that we follow? Is there a course for every birth? There's a death and vice versa. And are our numbers like written in the cards like at our time, and if you happen to miss that time of death, it's going to circle around and get you anyhow. So it kind of makes you wonder on that exactly what route and what path our lives may go. So tune into that. It's going to be real interesting. I'm going to delve into that movie. I'll try not to give spoilers on it.
That's a salt truck. I'm pretty sure.
We're not supposed to get any weird weather tonight, are we?
No.
No.
It's actually supposed to be clear tonight.
I know, but that sounds like a salt truck.
The movie, okay, if any of you guys want to watch it before, like I said, I don't think I'll be on tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to say maybe it'll be after lunch tomorrow. It'll either be right after lunch around 1 or 2 o'clock, or it'll be early evening, like maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'll go on and do it. The movie, there's two versions. There's a 2008 version and there's a 2015 version. Some say 16. It just depends on where you search it. The movie's called Martyrs, and it's. I don't want to get into depth. What it goes right along with afterlife and what happens when you die. That movie was based more on martyrdom, which is the transitional period when you go into that almost comatose like state and your eyes just you can tell by if you look your eyes are like completely dead, like just staring, and you're in that state between death and whatever's beyond. The movie's very, very intense, especially the last half hour or so of it's very, very, very hard to watch. But I think if you're really, really curious of what extent some people may go to try to figure out what is beyond death, that is one movie that will really, really make you think. It's hard to watch, so I'm glad that I watched them, but it'll scar you. Let's just put it.
Apparently, there is people that actually do stuff like that.
Yeah, and I can't tell you anymore.
Which makes it even more messed up that it could be truthful, and the fact that there's people who probably do that. Yeah, it's messed up.
It's kind of like if you ever watch the Hostel movies and you see where people are bidding on Americans to capture them and torture them for the highest bidder. This one, I'm not sure the money part of it, where that came into play, but the storyline was the biggest question is to what extent would you go to find out in that transition period what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So with that being said, Abby, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Nope.
Okay, guys, we're at our hour mark. We try not to go beyond that. You guys are awesome as usual. Please spread the word about, especially our poetry hour, my show here. I'd like to get it going a little bit. For my personal self,
I know what that sound is now. I thought it was
The
a tow
shower?
truck. It's the shower.
the shower, and for my self-esteem, and just for your enjoyment, for whatever. I'd just like to see it get going. So like, subscribe, pass the word around. Make sure too that I'm not always on top of saying, hey, when we're going to go on, I'm going to try to change that more, because you can't get a channel going if you don't say, hey, we're going to be on at this time. Everybody should know by now, though, Poetry Hour with me and Abby will be every Thursday at 8. That's not going to change.
Except today it was a little bit later because we're trying to figure out
Yeah,
something.
we were trying to play around a little bit. Now, unless something would come up, like if we go on a vacation for a week or something comes up and we can't, but as a rule, it'll always be every Thursday at 8. And sometimes we'll see, like Gabriella was here for a couple minutes, see if we can get Eric to come in. So, thank you, Linda. Thank you. So if nobody else has anything to
Cactus
say,
said that she watched the first Hostel movie and it messed her dreams up for weeks.
the first one was intense, and I think it was the second one. If you thought the first one was bad, the second one was real messed up. I mean, we watched all of them, and people actually do this stuff. People actually do this stuff. So, I'm glad you guys popped in. As always, we look forward to seeing you each week. And with that being said, we're going to say, until we meet again, we'll catch you on the other side.
How you do it?
Bye.